Smriti Bhadra. Smriti Bhadra born Sirajganj on June 18, 1981. She also spent his school and college life in Sirajganj. She graduated from Rajshahi University with a philosophy degree. She is a mother of a son and a daughter in a married life. Her first book, Olokpuri-r Daak, was awarded the Pencil Awakening Talent Search Competition. Her second book, Ontorgoto Nishad o Payra Ronger Megh. Purple Jolforing, is her third storybook. She is currently living in New York, and is working at a school there. The blocked window. The window is now closed. It is a big one. It is a two-sided engraved wooden window. Its rods too are wooden. Once the window is opened, breeze and sunshine rush in to take possession of the room. But for quite some time the sunshine or the breeze have not come this way. The window has been shut by lifting a huge rusted cleat. And two did want to pull down the cleat and push out the sides, thus widely open up the window. But the sides, after hitting the darkness outside a few times, swung back towards the room. The other windows of this house, though, are not into any complication as this one. And why would it be? The influx of light and air through those windows were just paltry. The north-facing window in Antu's parents' room faced the boundary wall of their associate's house on the other side. Under their influence and power, Antu has seen that window remained rather subdued ever since his birth. And next to the window of their living room was the stern guard of the Bishwa Road. When those huge monster-like trucks run past, quivering the house, then under its raging noise, smoke and dust, the window literally cringes in fear. It is only this window which has unabashedly brought in the traces of light and wind for this house all these years. But for the last 12 days this window has taken leave of its responsibility. But it was not supposed to be so. Sitting next to the window with the evening sunshine on his back, he was supposed to be completing his trigonometry. Or sitting by the window, read the story books that he had stolen from Paresh Dadu's book Almira. Or the sunshine and the air that came in through the window were supposed to be remaining friendly with the house for a longer time. But that humongous window just ignored and slipped away from all the wishes. However, it would not be justified to wholeheartedly ascertain the window as the culprit. There was no reason to underestimate the role of the huge house that was spiraling up on the other side. It would be more appropriate to call it a mansion instead of a house. There are no two houses like that in the locality. Huge black windows, marble floor, balconies with silver-colored steel railings and fancy chandeliers in every room. All of this proudly proclaimed the aristocracy of that house. To be honest, that house has literally changed the facade of the neighborhood. A mansion like this doesn't come up in a day. Slowly, taking its own time, this mansion reared its head. It was nearly a year back. Then, there was a drumstick tree in this vacant plot. Only once in a while did its shadow fall on the window on the western side of Antu's house. The sunshine caressing the green leaves of the tree, casting a green spell, would stand guard of the window. Just for that light, Antu, for no rhyme or reason, would come and stand by the window. He would practice whistling the recently learned tune. And in tune with the melody he whistled, a footstep would come and stand a little further away from the window. In the evening anchorite sunshine, silently would she bathe. Her tunes would cut through the gentle wind and swim into Antu's mind, hidden away from anybody's view. Mumita was her name. That day also Antu was standing by the window. He did not bother even when he saw his father rushing in. Antu's father was always impatient. He was always in a hurry to do everything. He was not satisfied unless he had repeated the same thing several times. Antu's mother was just the opposite, calm and serene. But whatever she said carried a lot of weight. As soon as Antu's father entered the house, he started saying something to his mother in an anxious tone. A whistling Antu was much used to this anxiety of his father. That day intentionally, he did not pay any attention. But for the very first time, he heard his mother speak in a hushed voice for so long a time. And listening to that, he cannot definitely deny that it got him intrigued. But before his intrigue was fully grown, Nipun came and stood at his window that day. Nipun and Antu went for their computer lessons together. After completing MS Excel, they had just started PowerPoint. Antu enjoyed inserting pictures here and there to make presentations. hence ignoring his parents' hushed and urgent conversation, Antu went out with Nipun. But that day the interest with which he had gone out, he came in equally dejected. Shiamal Computer Center was closed that day for unknown reasons. After that day, the computer center never opened its doors. Though one could see Shiamal uncle once in a while in the market, but with the onset of winter that year it stopped too. In place of the computer center came up a multi-storied building. After that Antu could not take any computer classes. Gradually winter set in. During his leisure hours in the evening, Antu used to spend his time sitting by the window. One afternoon, a band of sunshine was playing hide and seek on the clothes hung up for drying in the yard. Mother was busy in the kitchen. Someone came up to the main door and shook the latch. At first thinking it might be a beggar, no one bothered. But after a while the person gently coughed and again shook the latch more loudly, so one could not ignore any longer. Antu went and instead of opening the door wide, he just opened a crack and saw a man, quite gentlemanly, with sunglasses on his eyes. Looking at this unknown man, Antu at first was a bit scared. Next moment a different kind of thought came to his mind. He must be some kind of a relative of his father or mother? Who is it, Antu? His mother had come out to the yard. Not allowing Antu to make a reply, pushing open the door, that man made his way into the yard. He was looking for his father. He looked at his mother and shot the question enigmatically. Where is the owner of this house? I have something very important to say. There was something in that question. His mother curtly replied, I don't know, and shut up. Ordering that the owner be duly informed once he was back, the man left. That afternoon mother did not go into the kitchen. In the evening when father returned, she was not enthused at all. Father and mother were arguing on something in a low voice. A month or so after that, this unknown gentleman started coming to this house at any odd time. There is no need to listen to what they are saying. In this congested neighborhood, that is the only free space. The folds on mother's forehead along with these words became long-lasting. The pitch of the arguments between father and mother started rising to the stars by the day. Somebody comes and says something, and you have to agree to it. Why should you concur to their whims? What is there to be so scared of them? Mother questioned in a calm voice. You don't know them. In reality they are not as you see them. When the time comes you will know what they are. If you don't give them what they want, they will snatch it away. Antu did not bother with who was seen as what or what was being snatched away. Seeing mother stand next to the window touching the drumstick tree off and on, Antu understood that the green light was coming to an end. After this, one morning Antu woke up in the morning with some thumping sound coming from the window on the west. He opened the window to see a few men chopping down the drumstick tree with axes. In a short while the tree came down crashing. A few birds flew away from the tree. Though father was seen a few times near those men, mother sat still in her room shutting the door till afternoon. The empty plot soon got filled up with bricks, cement and stone chips. Without questioning anybody, Antu understood that something got lost forever. Layers of bricks and cement started covering the space quite fast. On the other hand, the window on the western side started being thrifty. The window used to remain shut in fear of the dust, and the unknown men on the other side. In the evening, feeling claustrophobic, Antu would throw open the window. Even then the setting sun would not deprive their house. Father has grown all the more fidgety. I don't understand what is happening. That house will devour this house. This was not what was decided. They had promised that they would keep 2 feet distance from the window on the west. In answer, mother would give a sigh and go back to her room. Mother was growing calmer by the day. Like the rest of the house, there were a couple of darker shades in her room by then. Completing the base of the house, the mansion was gradually taking shape. And the fanciful things of Antu's house were being wound up. Mother's sitting by the window with her back in the soft sunshine of the evening, reading books, father's going out for a stroll after dinner in the empty plot, and Antu's standing by the open window were slowly and silently winding up. After that palatial house started growing in stature slowly, mocking all the houses in the vicinity. The old dilapidated houses further shrunk, seeing the monstrosity of the house. Even N2's house was not spared from that monstrosity. Sleazing started in the very common affairs too. The breathable air too seemed to be gratifying that huge house and bypassed N2's house. The crooked Orion of the morning sky, the green light and Mumita have all taken leave of N2 in the window on the west of the house. And then came that much-awaited moment. That house appeared in its true colors. All around that huge house was raised a wavy decorative boundary. To retain its sophistication, this house was thrown into an all-time darkness. Though it was possible to cope with the lack of light, the people of this house literally gasped for a breath of fresh air. No matter how many times N2 tried to open the rusted cleat and throw open the window, the sides would hit the darkness outside and repeatedly swing back. The dance of the wind and the sunshine could never be seen again on the clustered darkness on this side of the window. Translated from Bengali by Purnasri Nag.